6 o'clock, everybody.
Oh,
There we go. Thanks for coming in tonight, braving the winds. So you have in front of you a copy of the minutes from the previous meeting. If you guys will take a moment to review, and then we'll entertain a motion to approve.
I make motion to approve. Oh,
Yes, sir.
I agree with you. I mean, amend. It's just a F and G. We need to work the G in the impact fees, 1,500 foes instead of 1,500 goes. Okay, I missed that. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, the typo as well.
Thank you for my typo.
I thought I was just listening.
To include correction of the title.
There you go.
So we have a first and a second. We have a first and a second here. Do we all in favor? Anybody opposed? Motion carried. Thank you very much for that. We'll try and make short order of this evening because of the impending weather. So the status of the previous items, we have the impact fee was recommended by Codes and Zoning. David Thomas, do you have anything you'd like to mention that before it goes to the full?
Impact fee did come back before Codes and Zoning. We did send it forward to the full commission with the amendment, the change of doing the 15 going to 1 and the remainder of the fee going to everything else.
Okay,
So that it is in line with budget finance's recommendation.
so that's favorable from both subcommittees.
That's what budgeted.
Okay, thank you.
Is that $5,000 and 7,500 or whatever it was?
5,000 for residential. We didn't talk about the changing the prices at all, just where the funds were gonna go.
Got it.
And so we just went ahead and agreed with budget and finance's recommendation, and so both approvals are on the same.
So anything exceeding
Anything exceeding $1,500.
goes to 171?
Discussion on this? Anybody? Thank you so much. Do we have any other outstanding things from our previous that's hanging out there that needs to be looked at by this committee? Now we'll move on to the items that are under consideration for this meeting. Upcoming budget is one of the, is item A. Do we have any discussion regarding the upcoming budget from?
Budgets would be submitted. Your meetings wouldn't start until May,
Exactly. we just-
April.
Departmental.
Yeah, departmental are coming in right now. You know, they're supposed to be under our, I don't know if personnel's talked about this, but in that personnel policy, there's supposed to be evaluations for every employee done by the department head. Those should be getting submitted as well. That's kind of that merit pay piece. I won't call it merit pay, but it's in that. It's in the steps.
Right.
That follow along. If you are staying at this step or if you, it's sort of been asked in the past, did these happen? I hope they're happening. This is all the same. Budget has asked that every time and we haven't been able to receive we're not asking, I don't think, to see those, we're just asking to see that they took place. If we're giving everybody the same piece,
And
we're
I'll
saying
follow up.
everybody did their job. I
How
think that's all.
that status is going on. Perfect. Anything else?
I know, Mrs. Thomas is working on getting the worksheets out to all the departments. Don't expect to see her for the next 3 months, so.
Understood.
Yeah, we're a little ahead right now. We're, school board voted their budget is in March. It's supposed to be in March, submitted to us for that April discussion and then move from there.
Yeah.
Hopefully they will vote. I know the school board had their retreat to get that stuff worked out. couple of weeks ago, so maybe that will be ready to, hit the table for us, and then we'll schedule some meetings. We tried to schedule them in late March last year, but, it just
Too
doesn't, it's too early. We'll schedule them in April and just roll them.
Righty, other item for consideration is Jefferson County has sent a resolution over for us to take a look at. And here's the crux of it. It's basically, dealing with eminent domain. It would support some language that is tentatively coming from the state down the pike that would, greatly inhibit our ability to exercise eminent domain in the future. We don't have to act on this. We do not have to send this to the whole commission, from what I understand. It is just her doing her diligence to bring it in front of us. All the documents supporting this is there. It is the opinion that it's probably not a good thing for us to get involved in at this moment until it gets further along down with the state. We want to be able to make sure we have the ability to exercise it should an emergency or something come up without, cutting our legs off on that in the process. Like I said, it's all there. Supporting documents are there, but
That's Judge Beller's opinion?
I think he is reviewing it, but from what I understand, this is the only county so far that has come forward with this language. The way that it was briefed to me.
I see a House bill summary is attached. Do we know if there was a Senate bill?
Hmm.
So
It's
it
not
really
yet.
is just getting started.
It's just getting started. It may not make it. But this would be in support of that if we were, they sent it out to everybody. If we were to take it before the committee or the commission and they were to vote in favor of it, then we would be supporting that decision as it would move forward, which would give it legs. If we choose to do nothing, then it doesn't support it as strongly. And it may take forever to get it through, who knows? But, the ability to exercise eminent domain in an emergency or crisis type situation, I don't know that we want to limit that until the state limits it. Is there any discussion on this as you guys look through? I'm sure, yes, Mayor.
I think that began, I don't misremember that, a representative up there, a hospital wanted to take some land for a walking trail. And some representative got real hot about that and said, that's really not essential. You take good land from a city for a walking trail and they're trying to put some parameters on. That's what I understand. I'm gonna stop it all together.
That's kind of the direction that it was coming at. Was it when I spoke, I went and met with Rita today to discuss what she was briefed on it. She said kind of the consensus is you don't have to do anything. You can leave it alone until the state brings it forward. We're just doing our diligence and letting you see what's going on.
Eminent domain cannot be taken from private, it can only be taken from this ring.
I believe several years back, but they actually, the Supreme Court actually ruled on it, a thing in New Jersey where they took it and made an apartment complex. And they took the land, a private developer bought the land and because they said that we got more tax dollars, therefore it was a benefit to the community. And the Supreme Court upheld it.
Maybe up there that would be the case, but
But
for a private, you can't.
that was a big deal. I guess it was about 15, 20 years ago. It was a big deal about eminent domain being used for private
Yeah,
development.
I don't think private should be involved in that.
I 100% agree,
There's like a neighbor behind me saying, I want half your backyard because I won't do this with it.
because I can make more tax dollars for the county with it.
Yes. I looked at it when she presented it to me this morning and I was like, holy cow. And again, my recommendation is we don't act on this. We let further language come from the state before we even pick this up. All right, so we have a motion to let this die. We have a motion? I have a second. All right, the motion and second, Bubba Gregory's a second. All in favor? Any opposed?
Just make sure. Rita wasn't asking us to go any further.
No, she said, this is me doing my diligence. I was asked to just show it to you. You can decide if you want to pick it up and play ball, or you can just wait till the state makes a decision down the line.
It's just discussion piece.
It's all it was, this discussion piece. And it does not need to be considered. They reiterated that twice. We have a motion and a second, everybody's in favor, and nobody was opposing. So, full vote. Thank you. Do we have any other items for consideration that needs to be looked at by the subcommittees or anything else, Mayor?
One thing I'd like to mention, I had in looking at future revenues, I had not heard anything from Enbridge for a while. And so I sent a text to Art Haskins one day last week, and he called me immediately to tell me that except for just a couple of little permits they're working on, that they're down to choosing between two contractors, and their start date is still November. And the original projection was that once they started in 9 months, that project would be done, so that would be the latter part of 2026.
So they received their FERC permit?
Sir,
They have received their
Yes.
FERC permit?
Yep.
I thought that was July.
well, he told me that they got the final go from PERC. So.
That's all.
Yeah, that's really quick.
They had some concern on that, only due to FERC permit.
If I didn't misunderstand him, they've been cleared with PERC. So.
You said they looking to start in November.
This, yeah.
NDRC.
It's a federal.
Emergency Regulatory
There
Commission.
we go. Spit that out again.
No.
Do we have anything else to consider?
Is the, anything about the jail coming up in front of us in March, about the, no progress on that, anything?
Mr. Langford reached out to me and told me he was gonna be in Franklin last Thursday or Friday. Was it expedient to meet with anybody this quickly? And I told him that we were kind of simmering this thing right now. And it would probably be at the earliest, the court meets this month, whether or not a decision will be made. So he said he thought he was probably pushing it a little bit.
What are you talking about?
Deciding whether to go ahead and okay spending money as he
To get final
determines.
numbers, to get the complete site evaluation, to get the final blueprints done and everything that needs to be
Like
done.
spending $700,000.
Several $100,000.
7% of the estimate, or the estimated.
Mayor, correct me if I'm wrong, but the way he broke that down in the percentages of each step was this much percentage of the process. Would we not just pay them that percentage of their 7% instead of having to pay the full 7%?
Oh, we were questioning 7%. He just said that to get us the numbers, it would cost several
No matter
$100,000.
what we do, we're faced with that.
So wouldn't it behoove the whole commission to vote on whether that's the property we're gonna put this on? Before we go and spend any money developing a site plan specifically.
That decision has to be made, yeah.
It does.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and, there's not a tremendous amount of locations we could go to without spending even more money. And that's a hard reality. Two parts of what I'm gonna say here. Number one is, there's been a great deal of discussion about why can't we put this over here in this parking lot over here and tie this in? And the one statement that the Spirit Architects did tell me is they said, you're gonna find yourself in a situation that you are in the very building that we're in right now. That you're gonna be down the line, a short order, and you're gonna wish you had done it because number one is you were 100% landlocked between a creek and a street, and there's no room to go with anything if you do build it here. Across the street, there is some room to expand, should we need to have to expand in any direction back that way, we can acquire a piece. Provided that this other, thing from, that didn't go through. So anyway, we could acquire a few feet if we needed to. But over here, there is none. And Could it be done? Yeah, but it would be costly and it would there'd be a great deal of peril to it because number one is that, they're gonna have to come move this damn gas main. And that is on their dime, but that's gonna take a considerable amount of time. Once they do that, then that soil and that ground's gonna have to be. I mean, once you disturb it like that, I mean, there is the soil compaction and all that stuff. Once they dig that all up, I mean, you're gonna be building on fill. The way I understood it when I spoke with him, he said, you have to understand that it adds another layer. Yes, sir.
There's also what came out of that last meeting, he made a point, and because I'm dealing with it every month now, the building envelope on that property is not large enough in either length or width to put the size building we're requesting them to build.
It was 100% true. Even if you peeled away the courtrooms, I mean, it would still.
Because you have to have your setbacks from the road, you still have to have your setbacks off the back property line. That building envelope isn't big enough there. I mean, what they presented this last time of going 2 stories with the courtrooms and doing, like I said, you do the 2 instead of 3 of what he kept calling pie slices. So it gives you 104 beds with room to expand another 104 beds down the way. That does fit on that property.
It does. And that over there is key essential parking that we need. Doesn't matter if it's in a floodplain or not, if it's parking. And I'll just so you know, I did speak with an independent architect firm that does a lot of municipal contracting because I'm still an electrical engineer. I still work as a contractor, as a consultant. And I did speak with them and I asked them what they knew of Spirit Architects about, you know, so you're gonna be building a jail. And they gave a beaming review of them, said that, man, we've done several projects with them over the years, that they are not the best in Tennessee, they're the best in the entire Southeast. But you got the right firm. Cause we wondered, do we need to move to possibly to look at another, architect firm? They said they said they can build you the Taj Mahal of jails, or they can build you what you need on a budget. But beaming, and they said the thing that they shine at the best is rehabbing existing buildings and turning them in to what they need to be. So they're the best at that. Taking old factories, taking old Walmarts or whatever and or Kroger's or whatever and turning them into what they need to be. They said they're the best at that. They're the best at finding solutions, but that came from an architect firm that I really respect a whole lot, that do a lot for the state. And, so,
I would like to add in response to the jail discussion, I have heard no way of paying for the jail.
100%.
So-
That's why we need.
Not
firm
no way,
numbers.
they have no current. There's
There's
not a
no
no way.
plan for paying for it.
Oh.
There's
I think
been
we've
no
been clear that
plan.
it will cost $2 million, right now on the $25 million bill, we said in these meetings 2 years ago. $25 million bill that we were looking at. We were looking at $2 million a year payment. That was at a 4.3. We were almost locked in, if y'all don't remember these pieces, okay? $2 million bill, per year is what we're talking about for, on a 30-year note. Yes, I agree, that's $60 million for a $25 million jail. Interest is out there. Life is what it costs, okay? It would have required a little over 59 cents property tax to cover that bill at that time. That's clear. That's a 59-cent increase from where we are today to cover that new bill. That would cover the $25 million, $2 million jail. I will be clear. He has been very clear in Spirit Architect. We are not looking at a $25 million jail. We're looking at a $35 to $40 million jail.
Because and that's the difference that 2 years have made.
And I don't know what changed today. I understand there's some tariffs that went into play today. He mentioned twice, he doesn't know how those tariffs are gonna affect
Lumber coming out of Canada.
building cost.
Most of the jail we've seen.
He was talking about lumber. So.
That's
Yeah,
what it
lumber,
is.
yeah. Lumber in itself coming out of Canada.
So. Yes. Do we not have a plan? Now, we've got an understanding. Are
And
there,
we talked about it, but
are there-
nothing said.
well, until we have a,
Figure.
we're not gonna have a figure, until we have a direction, a full direction of here's where we're going. That bill, and when will that bill be due? When will that first payment be due? That's the next line of movement there. When are we signing the movements? When is things moving in that direction? Fortunately, for some of these things we're talking about right now, we're not having to borrow money to cover the engineering preliminary costs. We've had money to cover that out of that 171 capital projects. So
And we may have enough in that to cover moving forward.
But
not long.
we'll never get the numbers and the data that we need unless we do spend that, no matter what fund we're with. That's a fact.
I think the commission though is, I feel like everybody is so far apart. How do you move forward when there's no agreement?
Because no one's in favor of a 59 cent increase in property tax.
No, but we can't steal it.
Right.
I mean, that's a
We're not
fact.
talking about finances. I want to be clear.
We're talking
That was for a
about-
$25 million, $2 million bill. I just want to be very clear.
Yeah.
We may be talking about 59 cents on top of something else right now. I just want to be, I've been very clear with that piece.
It doesn't matter how far we go up. None of us are in favor of a 59, more or less a 70.
So we need to get creative.
I will say this, the one thing I heard very clearly is we were approved for another year because we're working on it.
Yep.
Heard that well.
But in years' time, who knows where this number's gonna escalate?
Right, I mean.
But in
2
3
years
years' time, who knows where Enbridge is setting?
That's what I'm saying, I've got it.
And if you listen to the president, he's gonna bring all the prices down, so maybe prices come back down in a year.
My thing is that, you know, we do need to move forward on that piece of it. So we do have hard numbers, so we do have exact. I mean, so we can actually get blueprints, so we can actually we can start taking bids to find out where we would land, so we know how much we actually would have to finance.
I understand we're good for a year right now. That's all I'm saying.
We need to come to-
I understand clearly that we were good for a TCA, put us in place, certified for another year.
And
We are working at this piece. We are
we
working on.
just want us to approve that spot of land to build it on, I guess is what.
As long as we keep moving forward, we'll get certified again.
That's correct.
And that'll extend it.
So is the question on the table here, do we push to just get that parcel of land approved to start with?
I think we're moving forward and discussing the pieces.
Mr. Chairman, and I was thinking to go ahead and clear those trees out and it sends a signal that you're moving in that direction
Maybe that's 6 months from now.
and I could probably, I've talked to Cliff about Public Works taking care of that, it not costing anything and does that make sense?
There's some validity in the, how much do we have to do to show movement to continue being accredited? Because as the sheriff told us all, there's only 40 in there right now. Well, that's not overcrowded. If we have what, 70 beds? Is that what I understood?
41. 40, we have 41 we can keep. He has to keep 80%. So we have to keep some beds over. I think it's 46 total available.
Females is where he's been having a problem on the crowd.
But we've been.
The jail was built to house one female inmate. At that time in history, that was more than enough. And now it's 30-something% of the population.
Credit for a year. I'm not saying we're passing it around, but I'm saying we do have to have some plans for where these dollars are gonna come from in the future. And we are 2 years from, our minutes we just voted in stated very clearly that we're 2 years from an election. And any other options of what's coming our way. I think it's gonna be very important for this commission to be very attentive to the new dollars that may be coming our way through Enbridge. Things of that nature. Anything else
And
that's
there,
coming?
again, as I had mentioned, there is some stuff that I am working on getting clarification on that I will be glad to bring forward. Or we'll be glad to bring forward.
I hope there's things out there. I certainly do.
Maybe in 2 years, we have a good plan and get the wheel tax passed. They have paid for that.
Mayor, at what point do we start applying for grants in the process?
In the jail?
Yeah.
I don't know how much grant money there is out there to build jails.
So that's all I heard when they were coming to us talking about is, well, there's grant money available when TCI, is the TCI the name of them?
Let's ask CCI where those avenues, send us the avenues so we can.
And how far down that process of our architectural plan do we have to
I
be?
think everybody will be clamoring for grants to build jails. That has not been made clear to me that there are grants to build jails. I'm not saying they're not out there,
Yeah.
but no one's presented that to me at this point.
On the end, we are good for this year. And we've purchased land and we are moving forward. Hopefully we can buy some more in the future around it.
It wouldn't hurt if we could make a decision at some point in the next few months that that's where we're gonna, that piece, that lot will be there.
I think, oh,
But I can also tell you that,
don't move too fast.
that the sheriff's department is cooperating and getting me a lot of hard numbers to renegotiate our contract with Core Civic. That's another possibility. It wouldn't bother me if Core Civic helped pay for this jail.
That's right.
I mean,
Because we're having to deal with their people.
I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, we went into it and they got a bargain. They got a bargain. And at this juncture, it's time for them to even up a little bit.
And they've provided us, the sheriff's department's provided us with a lot of hard numbers since 2015. Since 2015. So we'll be armed at that meeting, we renegotiate that contract.
So to reiterate what Commissioner Gully said, let's be attentive to future income before we make any hard decisions.
But we must.
And I'm only saying that the budget's around the corner. Everybody, that's, listen, folks. We're talking these things, we've gotta be straight. We wanna help our people, then we gotta be understanding that we gotta, here's how we got to start looking at options. That may be where our cuts, where our options that we're, if we continue to expand the balloon, without additional incomes coming in, we're not looking for a solution. We're just looking to keep passing on. That's all I'm saying. Pretty clear.
All the services cost more, but no one's paying more. Someone's gotta pay the difference. Either the services get cut, or we have to pay more for the services. That's just the way it is.
It's just pretty clear.
The amount of growth that we're experiencing is gonna put greater stress.
We keep hearing the word growth, and I can't forget the conversations that happened right over here. And we had individuals in here with the look on their face when we said we had 100 building permits last year, and they're like, oh, you're always talking about growth, and we're talking about 1,000 home subdivisions in 5 of them in this county, and that's, yeah, we're not seeing an unbelievable amount of growth.
We're seeing some, enough that over a period of 5+ years, we're gonna feel it a little bit.
I think we're gonna feel it more the opposite way. Our growth is declining a little bit. Number of homes, number of permits slowing a bit. You go look at those pieces, they've backed a little bit off. That changes in the number of, the increase in that penny value of our properties, of our property tax. And is that, and I've said this a few times, and the reason I say this is the reason we've had to not have issues and we've been able to inflate the balloon is because our growth kept up enough coming in the penny value change, to get us to a point today where we're okay. If that thing slows down anymore, I'm saying we can't continue to inflate the balloon. There may be other issues on the horizon. Just saying where we are. It's not fast moving.
Looking at the impact fee, when I went and ran the numbers from 2018 to present, we've had 13% growth in population. According to the last numbers that came through. But when you say we're having little growth compared to the acreage of Wilson County, yes. The acreage of Trousdale County, from a percentage standpoint, we're losing a lot of land. At some point, it's all gonna be, I mean, I figure at the current rate we're going, you're probably 20 years, maybe 30. You're not gonna have free chunks of land anymore. Everything will have a house on it at that point.
You said that well, and the reason I say you said that well is because we're building on larger tracts, 3 acres, 2 acre tracts of land. We're not building on small tracts of land. That's why we've got to be careful enough that if we're going to plan growth, we need to plan growth and how growth's going to be. That's why I've been asking for a little while, how do we get the water department to stick a sewer line and a water line down this new road? I know people may not love it, but that is the area that, if you go back to 1971, that this county said that's where we're going to build, is out that direction. We have a high pressure line out there already for a pump instead of a gravity fed line. We can control it and put them in smaller, I know it may not be all the way popular, but you can put larger number of homes in a smaller acreage of places and not lose. We are losing properties, but they're going on larger. You built 5 homes in 20 acres where we could have greatly increased that, controlled where that was at and affected their movements. We just gotta be smart about it.
That's what planning, we're looking of not doing high density developments outside off of sewer. And minimizing at this point, how dense those developments are inside because of just the congestion. We're just not, from a logistics standpoint, we're not set up to do large capacity roads at the moment. Coming off of 141 though, gives us an opportunity to create those developments.
The high density property that was built there on the 100-acre tract, as you call it, you've heard it called for years, just in Sumner, Sumner County there, right across from the, there, the name of, just built in the last few years. It's a high density area, on the right. Going,
Meta, your Meta,
what's the name?
Facebook.
No, not that near that far in, not near that far in.
You talking about in Castaic
Yeah,
Springs?
Castaic Springs.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Is it Meadowview?
I can't think of
Meadowview?
it. Anyway, that was.
Coach lives up
There's a
there.
way to,
and
there's ways to mitigate those movements. We just may have to, there's sewer options they can put in, there's alternate systems they can put in. I'm just saying we may need to look at how, if we're worried about percentage of land loss, I can agree with you. Glasgow Branch has got a lot of homes. They're all built on 5 to 7 acres of tract of land. I'm thankful that they're built on that side in the area now, but there may need to be some, looks.
That's roads the same way.
Larger tracks.
Yeah.
Agree.
But that was kind of, like I said, coming from planning, that's what's been expressed to our committee of that's the way people want to keep an not an urban feel, but a more rural feel to the county. I've heard commissioners during commission meetings make those same statements of, we don't want to be a big city. We're hearts full, and that's the appeal of being small. Okay, well, now you're limiting the amount of people that are going to pay property taxes. So now you just have to pay more property tax, or you got to get more people. The bill's still got to be paid. You either split it amongst more people, or each one of you pay more. But everyone wants the same services. No one wants to do without their fire. No one wants to do without their police, their garbage pickup, or any of the administration that's needed to process any of that. So the costs are what they are, unless we can make changes within the state regulations so that we're doing what we're supposed to do by the state, but we find cheaper ways of doing it. Maybe not every service has to be provided by Trousdale County. Maybe just private organizations who can do it better. Maybe that's the way we need to start looking at some of this. I mean, I've talked with Cliff about trash pickup, but there's no one in the private sector that's wanting to do trash pickup that's going to do the job that his guys are doing as far as keeping the county clean. That was brought up in Public Works, 2 meetings ago. The Dollar General out on 231 has got a private company picking their trash up. And it's a disaster. I'd hate for the whole county to look like that. So maybe that's not an option, but maybe there's others that can. I'm open to anything other than raising my property taxes over 59 pennies. I mean, that's,
Yeah, you're talking about mid to upper 60s at this point.
Yeah. So you're almost doubling my property
More
tax.
than that.
Mhm.
You're getting closer to 90.
Yeah.
That's what we're, I'm being honest.
A lot of people on fixed incomes are.
If you want real truth, that's what we're looking at right now, what we're talking about.
A penny's what, 336,000? Close.
You're looking at 96. At 40 million. I'm just being straight.
No.
The people that bought Jordan's house on River Street moved from the suburbs of Chicago, I think Schaumburg. The lady was telling us the other day, they become friends, that they are elated with the fact that they've got a house of that size on that size of a lot down there for the price that they paid for it. Because in Schaumburg, they had a house a third of that size on a postage stamp yard that was costing them over $11,000 a year in property taxes.
But half our community can't afford to pay it. You would be running out generations of people that
Well,
lived here.
I know, I mean, that's what they're facing up there. I mean, it's
And
$11,000,
that might happen regardless, just because of the property values.
just an average home.
That's why they gotta be slow down.
Well, they're gonna keep coming. They're gonna keep coming because the governor told us today that Tennessee is also number one in satisfaction for people who move here after they get here, are happy.
All my rock star friends are moving here. You know why? There's no state income tax. First thing they're doing is they're putting all their little LLCs in Tennessee, and it's saving them hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars a year. You know,
Like the people here.
No one bothers me.
David Bryan just moved here, and he's like, man, I moved all my stuff here and I'm saving a ton of money. You know, I'm like, really? He just moved here, you know, and Tom Hamilton lives across the bridge over here. I mean, I've got a lot of friends that have located here and they just keep coming. And they're bringing all their business and starting their LLCs here and folding them in New York or LA or wherever they are. And it's crazy. And they're moving to places like this. Because Tom can go to Foodland, 7 o'clock in the evening, walk in there, look at produce, and nobody comes up begging for an autograph or pulls their phone out, takes his picture. Nobody gives a shit. He's just another long hair. You know, and that's what they love. So. Is there anything else that we have for items of consideration for this? Anything else?
Where do we stand on the central unit at the courthouse? You know, I've been, every time I come through town lately, I've been seeing a couple fan over from that.
Waiting
Once
for a
it's working.
compressor, waiting for a compressor.
Yeah, they had- Apparently they put in, what they put in there, some nitrogen, and it leaked this week, found 7 or 8 leaks.
The last I heard from Cliff was they put the new compressor in, and when they started it up, they found multiple leaks down the line that all now have to be fixed.
I mean, I've been seeing them fans cool.
It looks like they're redoing the whole thing.
How many times did I say that? Yes, I'm going to voice that.
We knew it was coming this morning.
So that's one of the we seem to have a good contractor who's doing it all under warranty, so maybe it'll be done right this time. That's my hope.
Well, I've been through town like twice the last week or two. I mean, I see them people over there working on it.
At least they are working.
Yeah.
Better than the first group.
Yeah.
Do we have any other discussion for the evening? Nobody from the public is here?
But I do adjourn.
Thank you.
I always like to have a vote already.
Thanks for, I'm trying to be careful in the storms.